Okay, then I think we'll get started and go from here. So, hi again. My name's Michael. I'm a product manager here at Tebi, and today we're going to talk through a little bit about Tebi reservations, some of the new features we've got. Could be a refresher if you're using Tebi and our reservation system already, or if you haven't used it before, there's a bit of an introduction and a walkthrough of some of the things. So we have a bit of an agenda here. We're going to talk through just a brief introduction to what reservations is within the Tebi platform. I'm going to see what your guests will experience. So we're going to make some reservations as if they were on your own website. And we're going to go through creating new reservations within the app and managing and organizing it so you can understand how to set yourself up for success before service and during service. And then we'll shortly talk about what's coming up next, and then some time for Q&A. And speaking of Q&A, if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. My colleague Willemijn will be answering them as we go. If it's something that's a little bit longer or would help be assisted by a bit more of a demo, then we can go through that in the Q&A section at the end. Okay, well, in that case, let's move on and talk a little bit about reservations in Tebi. So one thing that really stands out with Tebi's reservation system is that it's really baked into the entire point of sale booking flow. So your guests go straight from the first booking all the way through to the final bill. You're all managing that all within Tebi. So you check in a guest, you take their order, notes come through the kitchens. You don't have to be switching between different apps. You don't need to be doing anything like that. That also makes it much easier when you're really busy to just be able to see where a guest is or where they should be, and really make sure that you have the information at hand with just a couple of taps. Another really key point for our reservation system is making sure that you as restaurant owners or managers are securing your revenue. So we've got tools and features in there to help with cancellations and no-shows, such as prepayments or using credit card guarantees. And of course, you want to make sure that your restaurants are filled. So things like wait lists help in those regards. So let's move on and do a little walkthrough of how a guest will book. So I'm just going to switch what I've got over here. Oops. And okay, so this is a sort of a imagined restaurant website. And we're going to go through and make a reservation as if we're a guest. So they've got the reservations button down there. They can easily select group sizes or particular days when they'd like. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, there's a wait list, but luckily today we're going in for a bit of a pub lunch in just a few minutes. So let's go through and see what's happening. So the guest simply selects, they get options. If we had lunch or another type of service available, then we'd be able to select that as a guest. So we just got one option available here. We see lunch. It tells you a little bit of information about the service, and you can put in your own information there as well. So just a quick note, this is in British pounds, but of course it's also available in euros. So what we're going to do here is just fill in first name, and we'll go through and do one of these. And we're going to leave a little note here, allergic to seafood. And that'll stay relevant for later. So I'm going to do to make sure that I don't cancel, we've got a prepayment in here. I'm going to go over, proceed to the prepayment, and I'm just going to do something a little bit sneaky in here and pre-fill some fake credit card details. So we go through, we've secured that reservation, which is wonderful. So 1 second, and I'm going to switch over to our app. Okay, hello and welcome back, everybody. So you should be able to see the Tebi app ahead of you. We've got the reservations timeline showing, and we're going to go and have a quick look at that reservation that I just created. So here it is. I see in here, allergic to seafood. You know what? That's quite important for the kitchen to know. So we're going to actually send that particular note that the guest has made over across to the kitchen. And so when we when they go and order, the kitchen will just have that information up front. So we've got that. We can also see we've got a few different views for reservations. This is the timeline view. You can also see a list view. See there's a new reservation being made by me. And then also over in the point of sale, we've got here our table grid. So this is a view of all the different tables. Also got the floor plan over here. And you can see that there's some timings that show when, at the bottom of each table, that show when the next reservation is coming up. So that's one way to see basically which tables are going to be occupied. You can also see within this list here, upcoming reservations. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look at Michael. We're going to see, okay, oh, this is actually a new customer, but we're going to go through and see if Louis the router, and see, okay, he's been there a few times. We can actually also see what does he like. He likes this Gintado Jura, these different products down below. You can see how much the average spend is, the last time they visited, and the tip percentages. So it seems that Louis is quite a heavy tipper, but that's all right. We're going to check in Michael, and we're going to check Michael in right there. Going to have a quick look. You can see straight away that the prepayment has been added to the sale. So no more having to, copy those things over, forgetting that the prepayment's been added, those sorts of things. It's just automatically added to the sale. You don't need to go through and make refunds or things like that later. We can also see at the top of the sale, it says allergic to seafood. So the front of house staff can confirm, oh, is it you, sir, that's got it? Or is it you, madam, that has it? And then we're going to order some products, and the kitchen will also know. So we're going to go actually some cocktails first, and then nothing seafood for this table today. We're going to submit that, and then we're going to shoot across over to the kitchen display. You can see here, this is the digital kitchen display. The kitchen knows then that they are that this particular table has a seafood allergy, and so that they can be extra careful with food prep. Okay, so that's a little bit about just checking in the initial process as a host. For example, you can manage things here. We can also open up a table. We can see that Bridget's reservation is there. You can get a little peek into who's coming up and when they're coming up. The next one we're going to do is, well, of course, some of these tables are occupied by reservations, but others, someone else just walks straight in. In this case, all we have to do is just add a sale. So we add some olives and some cocktails. And guess what? If we go back over to here, we can see there's a walk-in at table 15. And pressing that will take us back to the sale. Cool. So, you know what? We're in the middle of service. We're thinking, hey, how can I optimize some of these types of things? Well, it's nice and easy. You can just long press, and let's say, Bridget and Carol, I want to switch them tables because Bridget loves table 5 for some reason. So we can just easily swap tables like that, or even do things like, I don't know, let's get Bridget has decided that she can't quite fit in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze Bridget in and make sure that actually, so that she's got a shorter period, but we can still take that reservation through. All right. So the next, well, we have to save this just to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and create a new reservation. Someone's called up on the phone, and we say, hey, it's Leo Tyson, and they want to come in tomorrow. And well, it doesn't look like we got any availability for tomorrow, but we're going to put them in then, or over on Thursday's also looking busy. Oh, no, but they're coming in for dinner. There we go. Okay, we're going to select an available table over at 29. Looks good. All right, so we can also send them out a prepayment link if you want to call them up and say, hey, not a problem. You can still come in. You just need to make sure that you fill in your credit card details or you prepay €40. Okay, so we're going to save that one there. And we want to go and see if we can find that. Okay, so we can't see them on today, but we can easily search other days. We're going to expand our search a little bit. Aha, there we go. Liao Tyson coming in for lunch in a couple of days' time. And actually, they're coming in twice on that day, which is very nice of them. So we've decided, oh, you know what? Actually, they wanted to come in for today. So we can easily open up the reservation like this. Take a look. We're going to change the date to today. Look, there's no real slots available, but we know that we can squeeze them in because we're in charge. We know how to manage the reservations. So we're going to switch across. We're going to find Tyson down there. And you know what? Where are we going to squeeze them in? You know what? I reckon if I move Leo over here, and then we're going to squeeze to an hour there. And just save that one there. So we know that we can pull some extra tables out and make this work in our particular circumstance. So you've got full control over how the reservation works. So the next one, we're sitting there, service has just started, and guess what? A staffing member has called in sick last minute. So in order to calm things down, we can just stop taking reservations for the rest of the day. You know what? Don't think I can handle anything with the walk-ins I'm expecting. Or we can go through and say, you know what, from 4 p.m., we're going to tone down the guest limit a little bit to 5, and then go through, and we can even select multiples of these and say, you know what, these ones here, I know it's going to be busy then, and we're not going to have enough staff, so we're just going to set 4 guests that can reserve per 15-minute slot over that sort of hour period. Okay. So that's a little bit about pacing limits. Cool. So we have, just going back to Michael with his allergy and those sorts of things, what we're going to do is we're just going to go over to the sale. They've had a lovely meal. It's all been great. We're just going to pay that one up and then move from there. So we go, as you can see, the online payment, it's already been deducted from the bill. We press pay. And in this case, imagine we have a card machine, and we go from there. So we just said, all right, process that, assuming this says that the payment's been successful. Michael walks out, a happy diner, and then 24 hours later, he'll receive a review request if you've got that feature turned on to help you understand what guests think about your particular experience. Now, we've also got our lovely guest over here who walked in and is seated at table 15. Another way we can do this, we can just easily split the payment, and that will, equally divide it between those guests who are coming. All right, so we're going to pay cash for one of these. Let's close this one off and then go over here, and the other guest pays with card. And one of them has asked for a receipt. So what we're going to do is we're just going to view the receipt. You can email it across and send, and the receipt's been sent. So they'll be able to, perhaps it's a business lunch or something like that. They can then, use that receipt, expense it as they need. Okay, so one thing it's always, I guess, important to know is how busy you're going to be, what's coming up, how many guests am I expecting today? So within the overview, we get a nice sort of total section in here. You can see the number of groups that are coming in, the number of guests, how many have checked in versus not, the total. And then also by service, so you can see, okay, we're expecting 27 for lunch with 54 guests, of which a couple of those already checked in. And then the later table and kitchen counter services are also through there. And then finally, there's a group size breakdown. So you can see I'm expecting any really large groups. Maybe there was some 16 guests groups, or is it all, in this case, it's all couples, just two groups of two. Cool. Within the app, of course, you can also show our cancellations and wait lists. So we can see here that Hetty Harrelson is on the waiting list, and if a spot becomes available, let's see if we'll confirm, and she gets an invite to come in, and she said, well, actually, you're now welcome to join. A spot became available for you. We can also see any cancellations. So we see that Tony has cancelled, and Randy as well. It's also easy if someone calls you up and says, hey, I'd like to cancel, we say cancel. And in this case, there's no prepayment being made on this, so we just say cancel. And the guest won't be charged. But if you do have a prepayment, you get the option to either you can refund them if perhaps they're dog sick or something, or in other cases, you might want to sort of claim that if they just no-showed and you didn't hear anything from them. So that's all up to you. Yeah, so that's, I guess, pretty brief overview of where we're at. You can also see at the top, actually, one thing I forgot to mention is at the top, within the timeline, is you can see some details about who is coming and where. So at 1500, there's sort of, at 3 p.m., there's 10 guests expected, of which we're going to see those arriving. You can also see the pacing limits that we applied there, where it says 0/5, 0/4. That it gives you an indication that, hey, I've made a change here to kind of tone things down a little bit across that period. Yeah, so one thing that we are looking at the moment is improving the messaging that you get from guests as a restaurant. So, hey, I've got allergies, or can I bring my dog? Those sorts of conversations that happen around a reservation or inquiries that happen. And right now it's happening mainly in our system. It's by email. We'd like to open that up to some other potential methods. Maybe you should be able to communicate via WhatsApp and have those sort of conversations in one place in a streamlined sort of inbox style, so that you'd be able to answer any questions that come up and have a little bit of information about the guest's inquiry, as well as their reservations and their past history. We're also looking at being able to apply tags to customers, so you can say, hey, this is a VIP or a regular, or they particularly like a style of wine, or those types of things, so that you can tailor your service more to individual customer preferences. Yeah, I think that's mainly it. If there's any other questions, if you've thought of anything else, then I'm happy to run through. We've also got a pretty extensive reservations management. Oops, there we go, my computer just locked. We've also got very extensive reservations management in the back office, in the Tebi back office. Looks quite similar to the app, but optimized more for using on a computer or a laptop. There's also a wide range of settings and configuration you can do, so that it really makes things easy. The process of switching to Tebi reservations from former table. So we ask that you provide us with a list of your future reservations. You select a date that you'd like to move across, and then export what you want, and we can import those into our system. And we can also help you set up and configure your services and your floor plan and anything else like that, so that the guests map to the correct tables. Is that correct? Anything else I'm missing there, Willemijn? You've done more of these than I have, so.
No, I think a lot more is done.
Yeah, it's usually quite a quick process. We can do it within a couple of days, I think. Yeah, and that's for any reservation system that you might be using. So, cool. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it from everyone. Look, if you do have any more questions in the future, then please do get in contact with us. I think we just via our support channels. We're always more than happy to jump on a call or go from there. So, thanks so much for joining, and I hope to see you using Tebi Reservations soon. Thank you.